Hello Rocket Troops, welcome back to the HQ. Admin Shade here with another episode of Rocket Roulette, the show where you learn to turn. This is the first and only dedicated rotation battle series on YouTube ever. So I have these two battles today, both from the Rocket HQ stream. If you have not checked it out yet, what are you even doing? You are grounded. Go to your room, no dessert, forever. But before you do that, make sure that you go to the link in the description on Twitch, give us a follow so you'll be notified the next time we go live here at the HQ. So like I said, I have these two battles, one where I do okay, the other where I get my face stomped in, but at least I learned something new about rotation battles. So it's nice to lose sometimes, so that way you can pick yourself up, you can fail, and move forward. So like I said, I have these two battles. The first one is against my good friend Shocky, aka Shocky Plays Games, who is linked to our channel. He's an amazing channel. He's also TeamFail12 on Twitch if you've seen him before. He actually recently was on stream. We were able to raise enough money for him to get a capture card, so he'll be able to do awesome quality content such as this and keep doing the awesome stuff that he's doing over in his channel. So without further ado, let me go ahead and talk about these teams, what I did with my team, what Shocky's doing with his team, and we'll jump into the rotation battles. So I have two status users on my team in the Rotom and the Dusclops. I obviously have the Willow on the Rotom, and also Curse Pain Split combo in the Dusclops also disabled. So I'm able to kind of scout out what somebody's about to do, curse them, and they are stuck with that status until the end of the battle, unless they have something such as aromatherapy or something like that on their team. So I also have these two stat-raising Pokemon, one in the Gallade. It's my Assault Vest Gallade that you've probably seen from other videos, but I have the Power-Up Punch on that, and I also have Quiver Dance over there on the Volcarona, so I'm able to get some stat raises and kind of chill, maybe do a little bit of sweeping, you know, that kind of stuff. So I also have a Chesto Resto set on the Volcarona, which could also help me out if I am statused in some way, paralyzed, something like that. So Shocky seems really interesting because I don't know how much he structured it around rotation battles. I know I just threw my team together from stuff I already had in my box. I don't have a dedicated team yet, but Shocky seems actually really interesting that I saw from the get-go. So there is the Goodra. So the cool thing about him having the Goodra is that the Goodra has the gooey ability, as many of you may know, but it will actually, if I make contact, it will lower my speed. So that could really be interesting to use in rotation battles, seeing as how stat raises stay with you. So as I hit that thing, I have to stay cognizant of the fact that I'm going to have my speed lowered tremendously each time I hit it. So in addition to that, Shocky has the Tyranitar, which is really interesting, seeing as how he doesn't have much weather support on his team, stuff that gets hurt by weather, but maybe he just wanted to bring it so that way he'd be able to deal with any pesky ghost types that would maybe set up on him, or maybe do some status, something like that. But then there's the Honchkrow, which is obviously, I'm guessing that it's Moxie boosted, which would actually be really interesting because as it's able to sweep, I have two members on my team just now that have a big weakness to Brave Birds from that thing, so if he's able to get Moxie boosts from that, I could be in some real trouble. So last but not least, the thing that I'm afraid of most on his team is actually the Whimsicott, because it can set up on me. It has nasty prankster hacks that it can use on me, such as like Leech Seed. It can Encore me, do really terrible stuff like that. So let's go ahead and jump into this battle without further ado. Everybody, thank you so much for supporting this series. Make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below with your Twitch name if you want some Rocket HQ points toward the tier system. So if you don't know what that is, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. So I actually lead off with Dusclops. I have the Gallade in the front, and I also have the Rotom. Shocky leads with the Tyranitar, the Whimsicott, and last but not least, the Honchkrow. So first thing that Shocky does is set up a Tailwind, which is a good move on his part, and I'm able to Power Punch his level 46 Whimsicott that I didn't realize until mid-battle. He said he didn't care, so we just went ahead and carried on. So the Whimsicott has Rocky Helmet, and I decided to turn into Rotom, maybe thinking that he would try to attack me with the Honchkrow and kill me with a Brave Bird, get the Moxie boost, and I'd be in big trouble. So I decided to do the safe play, switch into Rotom, and try to go for the Willow. But he actually Leech Seeds instead on the Whimsicott, so Rotom is going to be Leech Seeded until the end of the battle unless I'm able to switch it out for my reserve Pokemon in the back. So I actually go ahead and stay in here, and the Honchkrow turns in at this point and goes ahead and Brave Birds my face, but I'm okay with that because I'm Rotom, I'm physical, I can take that. I have full defense investment in this Rotom, so I'm not too worried about it at all. the Honchkrow loses some HP from the Life Orb that I noticed it has, but also the Brave Bird, obviously, and I decide to go for the Volt Switch. I'm able to get my Leech Seed away, like don't have to worry about Leech Seed anymore, and then I will be able to go into my Volcarona and maybe set up a mini sweep here, seeing as how the Whimsicott's there, and I might be able to do some real damage to that Tyranitar if I'm able to get off a nice and powerful Quiver Dance. So the Tyranitar switches in here, and I decide to be very, 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 very crazy and stay in against it to try to get off the Quiver Dance. Now, this thing has access to Rock Slide, stuff like that that could really hurt me. That's why it's crazy I stayed in, but I decided, you know what, you gotta risk it to get the biscuit sometimes. So the Tyranitar goes for the Earthquake, does a decent amount of damage, but I'm not too worried because I went for the Quiver Dance. I have Chesto Resto. I'm going to get my HP back. I couldn't live another one, but I'm going to be able to switch out and try to do some damage elsewhere. So I get buffeted by the Sandstorm. The Sandstorm's up. I have to worry about that. Here the Tailwind goes out, so I don't really have to worry about that too much anymore, unless Whimsicott switches in and decides to go for another one. So I decided to go for the Drain Punch, maybe catching Shocky off guard, thinking that maybe I'd stay in with my Volcarona and try to do enough damage to his T-Tar. But here you see the Gooey ability activate after I Drain Punch. I do a lot of damage to the Goodra, but at the same time, I get my speed lowered, and I could see how this would be a really big deal to something that cares more about speed, such as like Talonflame or something like that. So, well, I guess Talonflame doesn't really care because it's Gale Wings. Anyway, so the Whimsicott switches back in here and goes for the Cotton Guard, but I predict that, and I actually switch back into Volcarona. I'm able to go for a Bug Buzz that is now boosted. I'm able to kill the Whimsicott with it. So that was really nice. I was glad to get that thing out of the way because it was just going to hax me the entire game if it got the opportunity. So here my Volcarona takes a little bit more damage from Sand, and Shocky decides to go for a double turn, switching the Goodra, fake me out, and actually goes into the Tyranitar. So that's going to do a ton of damage, but not enough, and the Tyranitar is going to be able to take me out here with an Outrage. So this is a very physical Tyranitar from what I can tell. I don't see too many running Outrage. Then again, I don't see too many Mega T-Tars at all. So I have Gam left. Obviously, I'm going to be able to kill with a Hydro Pump. Rotom will be able to eat up this Outrage. And I do have the Citrus Berry on it, so I'll be able to get some health back. And luckily, I'm able to land the Hydro Pump this turn on Shocky. So that was really lucky. I was able to take out the T-Tar and won't have to worry about it anymore. So that is a dead Tyranitar, and last but not least, we have the Goodra. But as I saw earlier in the battle, I'm able to do a ton of damage just with the Drain Punch on the Gallade, so I'll be able to do that here. So I rotate into Gallade. I'm going to be able to eat up a Fire Blast because I am Assault Vest, as I said before. Take a little bit of damage, but not enough, and I do get burned, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's all good because it is his last poke, and I will be able to win this battle. So I do a little bit, not enough to kill the Goodra, and I'll be able to take it out with a Shadow Sneak. Again, the Gooey ability activates. So like I was saying, Gooey would be a really interesting ability to run in this format, being able to just rotate in and just purely benefit from your ability with the Gooey and be able to speed drop something that would really care about it. Talonflame was a bad example because it has Gale Wings and doesn't care too much about speed. But some more fast physical sweepers would really care about that kind of thing. So, Shocky, thank you so much for teaching me some new stuff about rotation battles. Taught me the power of the double turn as well as the really interesting ability in Gooey in the Goodra. So, I definitely have to think more about abilities with this kind of stuff, so that way I will be able to do better in rotation battles. So, that was the battle I did okay in. So now it's time to watch a battle where I get my face stomped in. So let's go ahead and go to that battle now. This one is against my good friend, Goldmane 2021, aka Colin. So, as you can see from his team, my team's still the same. He actually brings a really interesting team, and I had no idea that Wobbuffet was about to teach me how powerful it is in rotation battles. So, there are other members on his team are kind of troublesome. There is obviously the Chandelure, there's the Mean Shout, and last but not least, the Blastoise, which is most likely his Mega. I'm not going to be able to do too much to this team right off the get-go. I am quad weak to the Shadow Ball from the Chandelure. It could carry the Energy Ball for my Rotom. It could have Flash Fire for my Volcarona, so I really have to watch out here and be very careful playing around that Chandelure. When I looked at this team preview the first time, I'm like, Wobbuffet, okay. I know Wobbuffet gets counter and Mirror Coat, but I don't see how effective it's going to be. I learn in this battle how effective it is. So there's the Miyagi, which is obvious Miyagi. The Mean Shout, I call mine Miyagi, but Anyway, there's the Mean Shao that's going to be able to just be a fast physical sweeper. I'm not too worried about that, to be honest. If it tries to go for a high jump kick, something like that, I do have the Sableye on my team. But then there's the Blastoise. Now, the Blastoise is obviously a problem for my Volcarona, but I try to play around it in this battle. I do have the Rotom with Volt Switch, so I might be able to kind of work around it in this battle. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this battle. And you guys can see me lose horribly because of this Wobbuffet. It is powerful. So, anyway, Colin goes ahead, gives me a challenge, and leads off with the Blastoise. Has the Kiss Me, aka Wobbuffet, in the back with the nice lipstick on, looking all pretty over there. And also the Mean Shao. And I actually go ahead and lead off with my Sableye, my Volcarona, and my Glade, and go for the Will-O-Wisp right off the get-go. And I'm able to burn the Wobbuffet, which actually saves me a little bit later in this battle. So, the Wobbuffet sets up Safeguard, which is really interesting because now I won't be able to status other members of his team until that is over. So, I actually decide to switch into my Volcarona here. I just decide to rotate into it, thinking that maybe he'd try to stay in and I'd be able to get off a very powerful Bug Buzz on this thing. But I just decided to go for a Quiver Dance instead, maybe thinking that he would go into the Blastoise, which he does. But I'm able to just take a Dark Pulse. I think he was going for the Dark Pulse on my Rotom, or not my Rotom, I'm sorry, my Sableye, but it wouldn't do that much either way. So I decide to switch into Glade at this point, go for a Drain Punch, just to kind of gauge how much damage it would do, maybe try to see what his investment is. He hits me with a Water Pulse, not doing too much damage. I am Assault Vested yet again, but then the Mean Shao switches in and goes for the Stone Edge, maybe thinking that I would turn into the Volcarona, which would definitely OHKO it, so that was kind of a good move on his part. He loses a little bit of HP, showing me that he is in fact Life Orb. So I decide to go here for the Drain Punch, and I do a ton of damage there, get some HP back, so I'm not too worried at this point. But then the Wobbuffet switches in and eats up this Shadow Sneak. Now watch. So I do the Shadow Sneak, does a decent amount because it's Wobbuffet. And then here it goes for the, oh, first of all it's Rocky Helmet, so that's crazy in and of itself. And then it goes for the counter and takes out my Glade, and I'm like, Wobbuffet, why? Why you do this, Wobbuffet? So it is getting burned, but at the same time, I can't hit this thing with status. I can't hit it with a special attack or physical attack without fear of it just OHKOing me. So Wobbuffet is a monster, but here I decide to go ahead and switch into my Sableye, seeing as how the Safeguard is now down, and I'm able to go for the Taunt. I hit the Mean Shao with it, which isn't that good because it doesn't really carry status moves like 99% of the time. So I'm able to take out the Mean Shao there. And last but not least, he has the Wobbuffet and the Blastoise over there, but then brings out the Chandelure. So now I have to worry about that. So I switch into Rotom here, maybe thinking that he would go for a Fire Blast, something like that, and I'd be able to take it with Rotom pretty well. And I decide to go for the Hydro Pump, and then he reflects it with Mirror Coat, and my Rotom dies. So Wobbuffet is just absolutely destroying my life. And I'm seeing the power of Counter and Mirror Coat in this format because you can just switch it in, take the hit, and reflect it right back. You don't have to worry about a delay of turn for deciding to switch. So that's just crazy. I'm going to have to experiment with Mirror Coat. It was a excellent play on his part to do that. So here I switch. I have the Sableye and the Volcarona left, and then the Blastoise was able to take it out with the very powerful Water Pulse, or Water whatever. So here I'm able to kill the Blastoise at least with the Bug Buzz, the boosted Bug Buzz. And then the last Pokemon that he has here is the Chandelure and also the Wobbuffet, but I'm not going to be able to do a whole lot to the Chandelure. It goes for a Fire Blast. I really just don't have anything for it, to tell you the truth. That is about game at this point. I go for the Rest just for the sake of trying to whittle this thing down, maybe getting the crit. Just trying my best to kill this thing, but I am not that fortunate. Now, he actually goes for the amazing play here. I do wake up because of my Chesto Berry. He goes for another Fire Blast. Gets a crit. And I have no health left. I don't really have any hope of winning this battle. And he predicts me going for a rest here, getting my health back yet again. And does the awesome play of switching in the Wobbuffet and revealing his last move, which is actually Encore. So I'm Encored into rest. And there's not a whole lot I can do. I mean, there's nothing I can do, really. So at this point, I realize that Wobbuffet is an insane monster, and I really need to think about using a Pokemon with Mirror Coat, Counter, or something like that. But it really showed me the power of those moves in this format. So I am asleep. There's not a whole lot I can do, and the Chandelure goes for a Fire Blast. Gets another crit, I believe. Yeah, it gets another crit. So that is unfortunate. However, I'm fast asleep. I'm locked into the rest, unfortunately. Chandelure goes for yet another Fire Blast. Doesn't miss one. Doesn't miss one Fire Blast this battle. Which is fine. It's fine. I'm not salty. I'm not salty about it. But that was an amazing battle, even though I got my face stomped. But it's okay. It's okay because I learned now that Wobbuffet is a threat in rotation battle format. I'm going to have to worry about it. I'm banning it to Ubers. Seeing as how rotation battles have like no rules anyway. It's the Wild West of Pokemon. So, yeah, Wobbuffet's really interesting. I'm going to have to experiment with Pokemon with Counter and Mirror Coat. Awesome battle all around. Had 2 fun battles during that stream. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you so much, Colin and also Shocky, for giving me those battles. Had a whole lot of fun. And that is about it for this episode of Rocket Roulette. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Had a great time. Leave a comment down below. Make sure you like and subscribe. So next time, we'll be doing a couple more battles. I'll be showing you another battle where I get my face stomped and another battle where I do okay. So hopefully I get better in this format. Hopefully I'll be able to make a dedicated team. But that is about it. So everybody, have a great day. This is Admin Shade signing off for Rocket HQ.